Welcome. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you have a great 2024. Had a great holiday this past few weeks. Maybe you took some time off. Maybe you got a present of a telescope or binoculars under the tree, perhaps. Regardless, we're here to talk about the night sky for this week. Today's January 2nd. Took yesterday off. I'm usually on Mondays, but of course, being a holiday, spent it with family and friends. I hope you're doing all good. I love to see where all my stargazing friends are, wherever you're watching, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or whatever other platform you're watching on. It's great to have you on board. If you find value in my videos, please show your support. It would make so much of a difference if you just hit that subscribe button, also share and give it a like. It allows me to bring these videos straight to you every week. And I curate all the events personally. I have over 40 years of sky watching experience. I started as a young kid. I've had numerous telescopes, dozens of telescopes over my lifetime. I've taught workshops, different places in the world, stargazing workshops. I've done everything you could imagine in terms of outreach and interpretation over the many years and doing all kinds of things with the hobby of astronomy. I absolutely love astronomy and I love sharing it with you guys. So it's great to have you here. Weather here in Montreal, Canada, it's been awful, guys. Look at the weather. Here's a live shot outside my window. You can see it's cloudy. Of course, it's winter time, right? So no leaves on the trees in Montreal. It's usually a white winter, but we haven't had too much snow. It's been around the freezing mark, so it's pretty comfortable actually being outside. But it's been hard to get some clear skies of late, especially during the holiday time period. The last 2 weeks, I just haven't had much of a chance to go outside, and so I'm hoping maybe you have. Do share your experiences. I can see we've got people from different places. We've got Ziad from Lebanon. We've got who else do we have? Bonnie from Honolulu. Aloha! So great of you to join us. Nancy from the Netherlands watching on YouTube. Great to have you on board. And David is in Plant City, Florida. Wow. Well, hopefully you've got some clear skies. Maybe you've done some sky watching. It would be great to hear from you in the comment section. Well, why don't we dive in? The first thing I wanted to talk about is the chance of auroras. Now, my friends at spaceweather.com, where I like to go and check out what's going on in terms of auroras, it turns out that they're saying brace for impact. A CME is expected to graze the Earth, it says, Earth's magnetic field, January 2nd. So that means today, Tuesday, January 2nd is today on this broadcast, if you're watching it live. A CME is basically this charged magnetic cloud of particles. It's called a coronal mass ejection. That's what CME stands for. And here is a shot of what we're talking about. Just look at this lower left quadrant. You see that? See that cloud, that puff of smoke, almost what it looks like being blown off the sun? The sun is here. It's actually covered by a disk. This is from a satellite in space that's watching the sun all the time, 24 hours a day. And it took this series of pictures that was put into a movie showing you this cloud of charged particles being thrown off of the sun. Now, this happened on New Year's Eve. Believe it or not, what a great way to start the end the year with a flare that was X5 class. So what that means is this explosion right here. You can see this is from a different satellite. And you see the date on it. Maybe you can't see it. Let me see if I can put this up here. I can't put it on the screen, but it's dated basically that 22 hours 05 universal time. So is at 10 o'clock, just past 10 o'clock universal time on New Year's Eve on the 31st of December. And you can see that right here, this spot is the flare, a very powerful, one of the most powerful flares we've seen in a long time on New Year's Eve. And it produced this coronal mass ejection that is heading towards the Earth, at least partly. It says that it was hurled into space. It's going to graze Earth's magnetic field. So we're just going to hit the side. Now, this could cause auroras. So hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll get to see auroras because of this. So if you've got clear skies tonight, Tuesday night, probably closer to midnight, go outside, look towards the north, especially if you're in across Canada, northern states, United States that border Canada, or if you're in Alaska, if you're lucky, and of course, northern Europe as well. Stay tuned because there might be some northern lights visible because of this coronal mass ejection that's just grazing our planet, just kind of going beside it, but it could cause something. We don't know. Nobody can predict if it will happen. But you know what? I say go outside. The only way to know is if you head outside, peek outside maybe your window, looking towards the north is where you'll see maybe some greenish glows. That's what we're kind of expecting to happen. So stay tuned for that. Now, why don't we turn to what else is in the night sky this week, the first week of 2024? Maybe you got new binoculars or telescopes. Well, here's a great target that you can try. One of my favorites, Saturn. Saturn, we've been talking about many, many weeks and months, and it's still great. So if you're new to the hobby, you've got a new telescope, you got to try this out with your telescope. Saturn is a wonderful target. It's in the southwestern sky just after sunset. So as the skies are darkening, maybe a half hour to an hour after your sunset, you'll start seeing this beautiful yellow star. It's actually right in the navel region of Aquarius, the water bearer, the zodiacal constellation. And right there in his belly is where Saturn is located. And, with a small telescope, Saturn is incredible. Look, I'll give you a simulated view. I'm using Sky Safari Pro, my favorite planetarium program that I use. And if we just zoom in, you get an idea of what it would look like. So it's going to look something like this through a small backyard telescope. Make sure you use high magnification eyepieces, right? So you can see this. I think this is fantastic, don't you think? Seeing those rings. Of course, you can pump up the magnification and then you'll get more of details. We know one of the more interesting details with Saturn through a backyard telescope, folks, is you try to see, this is an observing challenge. If you pump up that magnification, you'll see those rings. There's an actual division. There's a gap, a dark gap. This is called the Cassini division. Okay, named after an Italian astronomer who first noticed it. The Cassini division is literally this gap that sits inside the outer rings and the inner rings of Saturn. And it's something that, again, is a feature that is visible through small backyard telescopes. So do try that out. You know what's interesting too is how far away Saturn is. Saturn sits right now about 1.5 billion kilometers away from us. It takes 85 minutes for the light to reach your eye. So imagine looking at this with the naked eye, right? So you're out there, and this, by the way, anytime this week. So it's not just Tuesday when I'm broadcasting this on January 2nd. Whether you're watching this on the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, doesn't matter. You get to still see Saturn. Now, Saturn is heading towards a conjunction with the sun, but that's still a ways off. You still get some great views. Maybe let's go, this is set at about an hour after sunset, but what about 2 hours after sunset? Look at that. Saturn's still beautiful, even better with the sky glow gone 2 hours after sunset. I would say you're going to see something even better, more details on Saturn. Now, if you don't have a telescope or binoculars, hey, it's still cool. You can see the color of Saturn. You can see it right here. It's kind of yellowish, right? So that is the inherent coloration of the gases, the methane, hydrogen gases that are in that make up the atmosphere of this gas giant planet. And it takes 85 minutes for that light to travel from Saturn to you. And remember, it's not producing its own light, right? Saturn is actually reflecting sunlight off the cloud tops. I think it's just magical, just the whole idea of being able to see that. Crystal is on board. Hi, Crystal. Happy New Year to you too. Great to see you. And there's Cyrus in North Carolina saying hi. Nice of you to join us from both watching on Facebook. I love to hear where you guys are all located. Do share it in the comments below. So that's one thing to see. There's also, of course, Neptune, but Neptune, you need strong binoculars or a small telescope to see it. It looks like a greenish blue dot, and it is a challenge to see. Perhaps something that you might want to wait for to be able to see. It's not something easy, but it is there. It is near Saturn in the constellation Pisces, the fishes. Now, the granddaddy of all planets visible in our skies and always is the sort of at least one of the top two brightest is Jupiter. Jupiter, easy target with the naked eye. Binoculars, fantastic. And I'll tell you why. If you do have binoculars and you point it at Jupiter, it looks like the brightest star-like object in the southern sky after sunset. You can't miss it. Look at that. See these little names? Callisto, Europa, Ganymede, and Io. These are the Galilean moons, and they are a standard in terms of sky watching experiences. So again, it's a great target for binoculars, and this is kind of what, you're not going to see it with that much detail on the planet. I would say it's something more like this. But you see these little dots? Those little dots are the moons that orbit Jupiter. And I think it's incredible that with a pair of binoculars, you can see it. Now, with that said, just remember this, okay? You guys have to remember this, that you can see those little dots, but you have to hold your binoculars super steady. Now, you can kind of go up against a wall or maybe brace yourself on top of a windowsill. You can even watch it from inside. When I was a little kid in Montreal, way back when, decades ago, I remember I was stuck at night. I couldn't get out maybe, or it was too cold. And I took my dad's binoculars and I would prop myself up on the windowsill and look out the window and look at Jupiter and be able to see those little dots, those Galilean moons. And you know what makes it so cool, guys, is that these Galilean moons were first spotted by who else? Galileo, right? We've both heard of the Italian astronomer Galileo. He first spotted these moons back in the early 1600s, over 400 years ago, with his newly invented telescope. He was the first guy to see these little dots, these moons. And guess what? Today, with an average pair of binoculars, you too can see them. It's incredible. And Jupiter is, it's at quite a distance away. I mean, if we, let me see if I can zoom out here. You can see it right there where it is in the sky. It's high in the southern sky right now after sunset. Easy to see. It's 670 million kilometers away, folks. And look at this. It takes 37 minutes for the light to reach your eye from Jupiter. So that beautiful yellowy glow that you see from Saturn right there, just think of it. That's the sunlight, the same sun that shines on our planet, right? That same sunlight is traveling out to Jupiter. It shines on those clouds and it reflects off of it, and that sunbeam is coming back, reflected sunbeam is coming back to your eye, and it takes 37 minutes to travel. So you're looking back in time, 37 minutes. Just fantastic. Ooh, we've got some more. Crystal saying, what is Crystal saying here? Santa brought my son the telescope he's been asking for, waiting for clear skies in Nova Scotia to try out. Oh my gosh, you are going to be in for a big thrill, Crystal, is when you're out with your son and you're enjoying the night sky together. I have absolutely amazing memories of going out with my dad and doing this. So going out with a parent, it is one of those things that I think your son is going to have memories of. And especially if you guys, you're exploring together, you're learning together. As a parent, don't shy away the fact that you're learning too. This could be something very new for you in terms of exploring the night sky. So Jupiter, is a must. And Saturn. Saturn's going to wow your sun with those rings, and Jupiter with those moons. And with a telescope, pointing the telescope at Jupiter, I'll show you, you'll get to see not just the moons, but atmospheric detail. So detail on the planet itself. Okay, so this is what it will look like. Just make sure you use high magnification eyepieces once you find the planet. And look at that. You get to see those cloud bands. You see those bands of clouds? Just fantastic. Just to think that this planet is so large that over 1,400 Earths could easily fit inside this gigantic monster of a planet. It's really incredible. And I'll tell you something else. If you happen to be lucky enough to have clear skies, say, for a multiple hours, like say over 4 or 5 hours, or one night to the next night, you'll actually notice that these dots, these moons, will change places over just a few hours or night to night. And that makes it really, really cool as well, is to see the movement in these moons around Jupiter. So for sure, now's a great time, again, with those new telescopes to check out this planet, Jupiter. Now, what's interesting also is if we look towards the western, the eastern sky, is you've got this, if you're in, right now in middle of winter in the northern hemisphere, this is where all the bright stars are really located, a clustering of bright stars. And if you're in the summertime, in the summer hemisphere, this is really representative of your summer, of seeing these amazing stars all bunched up in one place in the sky. Leading the pack is Orion the Hunter with its 3 stars that mark the belt. So really a great kind of guidepost in looking at other places. And guess what? Using the belt of Orion, let me just go do a little hour later. So we're like around just after supper time, is if you have Orion like that and you have those 3 stars, now your orientation may be different from what you're seeing here. This is what it looks like for folks in places like New York, London, England, Seattle, Tokyo. This is about what the orientation, but perhaps you're closer to the equator. Maybe you're watching from the southern hemisphere. Well, the orientation will be different, but watch this. If you use this belt of Orion as a guidepost, move from one side of the belt, kind of draw an imaginary line away, and you'll hit the brightest star in the entire sky, visible anywhere from around the world. That's Sirius in the constellation Canis Major, the big dog. And so using that belt, you can find a neighboring constellation, a neighboring bright star. And guess what? If you go the other way, using the belt of Orion, and just draw an imaginary line out, the next brightest star you'll hit, Aldebaran. Easy peasy. This is the red eye of Taurus the Bull. See the Taurus the Bull constellation right there. So Aldebaran, this bright orange star, is easy to find thanks to nothing more than using those 3, very distinct, in a line, bunch of stars called Orion's belt. It's as easy as that. So do check that out. Try it out. And you're welcome, Crystal, for the tips on what to see. But these are all things that are within the realm of your telescope, or if you're using binoculars, or just the naked eye, right? I'm showing you the sky here as it appears to the naked eye. Remember that. And there's a lot more that you can do. And David here is saying, New Year's Eve with my 10-inch Dobsonian was to see Saturn. Ah, very nice. Orion and the 7 sisters. So David's mentioning the 7 sisters. So let me just show the rest of you what David is referring to here. And the 7 sisters is also known as the Pleiades. It's an absolutely beautiful cluster. And I'm sure David, with his telescope, really got some amazing views. And Crystal, you're mentioning about going out with your son when next clear sky. This is another amazing thing to check out. So the 7 sisters is up here, right where my mouse is. You see that? Now it's showing us individual stars, but this is called the Pleiades, this cluster. And just a fantastic group of stars. Let me zoom in. And it's just above Aldebaran in the sky. You can see it with the naked eye. It looks like a little bunch of fuzzy stars all bunched up together. And highly recommend it right there. That's what it looks like. It's just gorgeous. And with a telescope, you'll get a view similar to something like this. Isn't that just gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. And it's 444 light years away. So you're looking back in time 4 centuries. That's how long it's taken light to go from this group of stars right there. And where are we looking? Towards the southeastern sky. There's Jupiter right there near Aldebaran. So you've got these major guideposts in the sky that allow you to jump from one place to the next. Get yourself oriented. It really makes a big difference. Now, what else is there in the skies this week? Well, we have to talk about the moon too. And something else. There's a meteor shower too. So I'll get to that in a second. So if we kind of go ahead in time, we're on Wednesday morning. So if you're a morning person, if you're up in the middle of the night, after midnight, or early in the morning, then you're in a treat to see the moon, sort of like a quarter crescent moon this week. It's going to be Wednesday morning. It's in the constellation Virgo the Maiden. And so that's where it's located on Wednesday morning. And let me go about an hour before sunrise, or let me just put it at sunrise. Why not here? Just I should say at dawn. That's the positioning here. It's around 6:30 in the morning. And so I'm going to move on to Thursday. So that's where the moon is on Thursday. But look where it is on Friday, next to a bright star. See that? That star over there? That's Sirius. Or should I say Spica? Excuse me. I got too excited there. That's Spica. Spica is a beautiful blue giant star that is the lead star in the constellation Virgo the Maiden. And you will see that in the southern sky next to the moon. Again, Thursday morning at dawn or before, if you can get up. Maybe you walk the dog. Maybe you're at the bus stop. Maybe you're driving to work. I don't know, but if you're up, this is a gorgeous sight of seeing the moon pair up with Spica. And Spica, like I said, is a lead star, but what's cool, it's 250 light years away. You're looking back in time 2.5 centuries when you're looking at Spica. Just gorgeous. Hey, we got more people online. We've got Sadia from Malaysia. Welcome. Nice of you to join us. Linda's here, obviously seeing some of the beauties of the night sky. We're revealing, and we've got Lynn from California, Ponderosa. Very nice. Nice of you to join. Mary's also there. Nancy Marie is in the southern hemisphere, and she says she can see some of these things that we're talking about. So it's absolutely wonderful. I'm trying to show you guys things, no matter where you are in the world, that you can do astronomy, even if you're in the city, even if you don't know much about the night sky at all. I'm here to guide you. So yay, let's see what else there is. So there's more. Check this out. So this is Thursday morning, right? So you see where the moon is next to Spica? Now watch what happens on Friday. Boom. The moon is on the other side of this beautiful blue star. So the pairing continues, but the moon has shifted position. As it's orbiting the Earth, it changes its position in relation to the much farther away background of stars. So remember, the moon is very close to the Earth, while the stars are much, much farther away. Welcome, Edith from New Brunswick. Nice of you to join us. And Carol, also from Cape Town, South Africa, a beautiful city I had the pleasure of visiting many years ago, spending actually Christmas and New Year's in Cape Town. Absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely. And the skies are so nice from South Africa. So nice indeed. So lots of amazing things there. And so if we continue moving, the moon, this is on Saturday morning, Sunday morning. Look at where the moon is going to be on Sunday morning, folks. You see that? The moon is in the constellation Libra, the scales, another zodiacal constellation. But look, it's close to an enormously super bright star-like object, which is not a star. In reality, it is the planet Venus. Venus is just gorgeous in the southeastern sky at dawn. You might have noticed this bright star. Well, it's the planet Venus, close neighbor to Earth, the second planet from the sun. And look, if you look closely, there's also this orange star called Antares. That's marking the eye of Scorpius. Scorpius, the giant mythical arachnoid in ancient Greek constellation. And Antares is 500 light years away. And next to there is the elusive planet Mercury. Look how many things there are to see in the early morning skies too. So if you are up in the early morning and you look towards the southeastern sky, these are the things that are in store for you. And the moon is going to be wonderful on Sunday morning. And since this is before I actually do my next live stream, I'll show this to you. Look at the moon. Look where the moon is going to be on next Monday morning, January 8th, folks. It's just gorgeous. The moon, the crescent moon, will be parked right next to Antares, right there. You see that? Antares. And then there's Venus and there's Mercury. Just an amazing sight, all bunched up together in the sky early morning, looking low towards the southeastern sky. Make sure you find a spot that is clear towards the southeast where the moon will be. It's all going to be low in the sky. Folks, beautiful stuff. And finally, if that's not enough for you, we also got the quadranetid meteor shower. I know that's a mouthful. The quadranetid meteor shower is going to be happening on January 4th, Thursday, in the early morning hours at peaks. And let me just put this in, quadranetids. There we are. And we'll ask this software to show us the center of it right there. It's near the constellation Bootes and Corona Borealis, and in the skies. We can normally expect around, it's a really good shower, the quadranetids. You might have not heard of it. I usually refer to it as the New Year's shower because it's so close to the New Year's. So it's peaking Thursday morning, January 4th, but the thing is that usually I would say that go and view it early in the morning. But look at that. The moon is going to be there, the quarter moon. And so you're not going to see as many. It kind of bleaches out the sky. It acts like a bleach, the moon, when it comes to meteor watching, shooting stars. So I would say try, if you want to, go out, but you're not going to see as many as before probably midnight. So here, if you can see, I put the moon, see, it's 12:30 in the morning. So the moon is still below the horizon east, hasn't risen above the eastern horizon, but the quadranetids are already peaking there in the northeast. So look for those beautiful streaks of light as soon as darkness falls on Wednesday night, January 3rd. So that's tomorrow night as I'm broadcasting here. And look for the quadranetid meteor shower or the New Year's shower. Expect anywhere from maybe 10 shooting stars per hour if you're stuck in the city. And if you're out in the countryside, you could see a lot more, maybe 30, 40 or more shooting stars per hour. And throw in a few fireballs in there too. Just really beautiful stuff. What a way to start the year, folks. So many beautiful things. So the quadranetid showers Wednesday night into Thursday morning. My preference, I would say, is go out before midnight. I think that's more civilized too. We all want to go to bed. We don't want to be zombies the next morning. Maybe some of us are working the next day on Thursday. So going out after supper, after it gets dark, Wednesday night, bundle up and see if you guys can see some shooting stars from the quadranetids. Remember, no need for binoculars or telescopes, folks. With the meteor showers, you just need your eyes and clear skies. Find a spot that is really clear, no buildings or trees and things like that. So a place like this is not necessarily good. This is out my window. So that's not what you want. You want no trees, no buildings. It'll make things so much easier for you. Now, if you're interested in sky watching and want to learn more, I invite you to check out my book, The Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. It's a bestseller on Amazon, thanks to folks like you who've been supporting me by purchasing this book. I also sell signed dedicated copies on my website, thenightskyguide.com. Also have, if you want something more beefy, there is the 6.5 pound coffee table book, Stargazer's Atlas. It has all 88 constellations, and it's a big book. It's not something you want to put in your pocket because it's huge. huge, but it is something that's amazing to plan out your stargazing sessions. I've personally curated tours of the night sky, of deep sky objects in all 88 constellations around the world. So it's a lot of fun to do. Use this book to learn about the night sky and basically humanity's connection to the night sky. That is something that is amazing to learn. There's just so much wonder in the night sky. So folks, thanks so much for tuning in. If you found value in this video, please show me your support. It means so much. Do those good stuff like giving likes and shares, and subscribe to my channel, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. Just do those good stuff. It makes such a difference. It allows me to come into your homes and share with you some of my curated stargazing events. All year, every week, I'm here sharing all the good stuff the night sky has to offer. So thanks so much for joining. I hope you have lots of health, lots of clear skies, lots of good stuff for you. Maybe some binoculars and telescopes in the offering this coming up year. There's so much that's going to happen. I can hardly wait to share everything with you guys. Take care. Until the next video, clear skies.